So for those of you who haven't locked down your Dungeons and Laser pledges, I'm going to go over the Sewers core set. I received the preview set and then gave it a paint job. I'll be discussing how to paint that later on. But I do want to note that the preview set that I'm showing is like 3/4 of what you're actually going to get. Furthermore, you're also going to get these nice full water tiles and full water half tiles. So I received 3 sprues worth of stuff, and as you can see from here, 4, 4, 4, 4, and 8. You're going to get actually 4 times 4 sprues worth of things. And so you can make some some nice setups. For example, here we have a large 4-way intersection. These are 1, 2, 3 sprues. You're going to get a 4th sprue. You can see how on this side over here, I made sort of 3/4 of a square pool. Again, you're going to get these half tiles that will fit over here, for example, so you can make like a actual pool. And you can see that the sewer size of the sewers themselves, waterways, you can determine yourself. You can make them a width of 2, you can make them a width of 1, and since you're going to get these full water tiles, you can actually make them even larger. Let's see. Now I've also painted up the walls. Here, for example, is the doorway. And they're going to retool it so that this little gap over here is going to be not going to be as visible or such. I don't know if you can even see it in the video. Let's see what else we got. Here's an example of the sewer short tile wall with the sewer on the water side. Here we have it against the walkway side, sidewalk side. And at least in the copy that I have, they only have one design for the long tile, and here it is against the sidewalk side. Now, if you remember the Fantasy Core set, the Fantasy Core set is actually kind of nice because I think it integrates just fine with the Sewer Core set. That's one design. And here's the other side of the long tile. The archways you can use as an entrance into a sewer set. And here's an example of what the short tile looks like against from the short tile from the fantasy set with the sewer set short tile. And I also tried finding out what the sewer long wall looks like with the Fantasy Core set. And even though it looks a little dry, this is what you can do with the sewer set short wall with a Fantasy Core short floor. Now to paint all of these, we'll just start off with the more... Oh, and this is what the sewer tile looks like with the clips. The clips have a little, instead of a hole, these will have a little knob or such, at least in the preview one, so that the water side is all flush and is all flat. So let's go on to painting. You'll notice that this is transparent plastic. And transparent plastic, you don't do a conventional prime with a spray primer or such. What I've managed to do in the past is use Tamiya Clear. This is Tamiya Clear Green, for example. And they sell Tamiya as in clear, so if you have a variety of transparent miniatures and pieces, you can use this instead. This will give a nice gloss. What happens is that the paint will fill in all the micro cracks inside of a piece of terrain, of a transparent miniature, and will also provide a surface that you can then do some paint. Or in this case, I used a wash. This is Army Painter Green Tone Wash. And what this one does is it turns it from a little less shiny to a more muddy and fictional green type of color. For the gray walkways, what I did was then use a black brush primer, and then I went off with some gray craft paint, the lighter color, and then applied a black wash. You can make a homemade one. Do a search for Les Burley. He gives a recipe on how to make your own black and brown washes. For the edges of the walkway, I did a darker gray. And then for cracks, a nice thing that you can use sometimes are these Prismacolor brush tip pens. They have a sort of B on the end, if you can see it. And these pens, let's take a look, will have a tip that you can use to fill in the cracks, so you don't have to keep using your paintbrushes. When doing the actual walls, I did something similar. I primed it in black, this time with the spray paint. Then I base coated it in the darker and the lighter grays. And then I used a brush tip pen for the larger cracks over here. Or rather, I used paint with the larger cracks and then a brush tip pen on the top. One hint when you use the washes is to put a thin layer of water on top of them and then apply the wash and carefully take off any excess wash. This prevents the pooling that you may have experienced whenever you have applied wash to a flat surface. So that's pretty much an overview of the sewers core set. Again, the actual one is going to have more pieces, and I think it's a really good set for those of you who are still looking for sewers and such. So happy painting, and nice to have a place for all your rat men underneath the city.